I'm Darrenisha Heron with the headlines in Austin. A high school teacher is asking for help after he was injured in a hit-and-run crash early this month. We want to warn you, video of the crash may be hard to watch. Here's Brianna Perez.
I'm glad that I'm alive.
After a close call, Benjamin Slamka says he's grateful to be here.
I want to see my current juniors that are now seniors, I've got great students.
A teacher at McCallum High School, he says sharing his passion with his students has been a rewarding experience.
I don't have kids, but, I want to sound, like they're my kids. I'm like, it's really exciting to see them succeed and do cool stuff.
On June 7th, things changed. While riding his bike home from his girlfriend's house, he says he was hit by a car.
Getting close, I'm like, he sees me, and then I'm like, oh, he doesn't see me. It was too late.
Video of what happened is jarring. According to police, Ben was riding through this crosswalk with the walk sign illuminated when that crash happened. The driver fled the scene and did not call 911. Ben says he may need shoulder surgery and was left with a concussion.
Short-term memory is a little weird. Sometimes it takes me a second to respond to stuff.
And this crash has kept him out of work. Still, he remains optimistic and is ready to go back in the classroom this fall.
I'm definitely not going to let this get in the way of me coming back in the fall.
If you would like to help Ben, we've posted more with this story on KVUE.com. Reporting in North Austin, Brianna Perez, KVUE News.
Austin police told us detectives have exhausted all leads and had to suspend the case. But if they get a tip about who hit Ben, they could reopen it. A man is in the hospital after being hit by a freight train in central East Austin. It happened on the tracks near Cherrywood Road and Clarkson Avenue. Staff with Cab Metro tells us it was a Watco train. People who live near the tracks say they've never seen an accident like this happen here.
I wake up every morning about 4:35 because the train wake you up. So I just happen to look out my back door, checking things. I noticed it passed through, but it didn't stay loud, so it wasn't running. So when I looked out my back door, I didn't see nothing but lights.
Medics with Austin Travis County EMS tell us the pedestrian has serious injuries. The Travis County District Attorney's Office announced more than a dozen indictments against a former Eanes ISD teacher. A grand jury returned 17 indictments against 26-year-old Zachary Barnett related to a child pornography investigation. Barnett was a music teacher at Cedar Creek Elementary School. Back in April, KVUE received court documents showing Barnett took photos and videos of students in his class, then edited them to make them look explicit. He remains in the Williamson County Jail. Leaders at the state's power grid operator predict Texas could break its record for energy demand this summer. ERCOT officials are also predicting a lower chance of tight conditions and forced outages than last year. During Tuesday's board meeting, ERCOT officials predicted a peak load this summer of 87.5 gigawatts. That's a couple gigawatts higher than the peak demand from the last couple of years when Texas set a record. By ERCOT estimates, that's enough to power 17.5 million homes during peak demand. The hottest part of the day isn't the time they're most worried about.
The tightest time is not during the afternoon peak demand when all the air conditioning is running, but it's in the evening when loads are still high, but the sun goes down, and so we have less solar generation available.
CEO Pablo Vegas pointed to more people moving here and more businesses like data centers that use a lot of power for the higher demand. According to Baxel, which is a platform that tracks data centers, Texas has 438 of those facilities. And thanks to recent rain, ERCOT is predicting this summer will feel less like 2023, the second hottest on record, and more like 2024. Last summer was still the sixth hottest on record here in Texas. And Texas now wants universities to figure out how many of their students are undocumented. The Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board sent a letter to institutions of higher education to find out how many of those students should be paying out-of-state tuition as the state pauses the implementation of the Texas DREAM Act. The state agreed to halt the act after the federal government sued. And with that law on hold, leaders at Austin Community College are now joining a lawsuit to fight the pause and get clarity on where they go from here. Here's Kelsey Sanchez.
Julieta Garibay knows the hardship of trying to get into college, but her situation when she went back in the late 90s was different.
I was told by my counselor, there is no options for you, you're undocumented.
Garibay landed at Dallas Community College. It wasn't until Texas implemented the DREAM Act in 2001 that she could come back to Austin.
I had always wanted to go to UT Austin, and that's exactly where I went. I got my bachelor's and master's from UT Austin, and it was thanks to this law. That completely changed my life.
The law allowed undocumented students to get in-state tuition if they met other residency requirements. But Texas agreed to halt the DREAM Act after the Justice Department claimed it violated federal law, a move Garibay calls frustrating.
Being formerly undocumented, knowing what it's like to feel like, okay, I have something that I can reach, which is higher education, and now all of a sudden it's gone.
Now colleges like Austin Community College are challenging it. Board of Trustees Vice Chair Manny Gonzalez says they're asking for legal clarity.
I think it was short-sighted and a political decision and not one rooted in understanding the needs of the region and the community.
Summer semester is currently in session here at ACC, and Gonzalez says pausing the DREAM Act leaves roughly 500 people here at the campus left with uncertainty, and he hopes other colleges and universities join the legal fight to get more clarity for these students. Julia Trujano is ACC's Student Government Vice President. She says her fellow students who are dreamers are fearful.
I do know that some students do feel a little bit scared to come into the premises.
But Trujano says as a person who was able to gain U.S. citizenship, she's going to stand behind current students.
I do believe that we as leaders and other people that do have the privilege to have a certain status, we have to step up for them, be at the front line of the fight, and do whatever we can.
And she's glad ACC is taking steps to help.
But I am also an immigrant myself, and I do never account for it because of the safety of being a citizen and whatnot. But I am really proud of everything that ACC is doing for us.
In Austin, Kelsey Sanchez, KVUE News.
An invasive worm is back in Central Texas, and you can thank the rain for that. Lago Vista police say hammerhead worms were spotted after all of that heavy rain we've been seeing. If you come in contact with one, they can make your skin itch and burn. They're also toxic to pets, so if you have to touch one, wear gloves. You can kill them using salt or vinegar. Those are the headlines here in Austin. I'm Darrenisha Heron.